You are now listening to The Perfect Prana with Kyah Ann. What's poppin'? What's good? You're listening to The Perfect Prana show on 88.1 FM WCRX, also available on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, where I post extended versions. I'm Kyah Ann, your host and a yoga enthusiast on the Chicago scene. And if you love yoga, this is the perfect place to be. And if you do not love yoga, this is still the perfect place to be, because I have the usual up for you all today between the yoga news, where I talk about what's going on in the world and how it relates to yoga, Yoga Heals, where I bring on a very special guest and talk to them about their practice, and the weekly wellness challenge, where I've been following the 8 limbs of yoga. But before we get into all of that, let's center ourselves. Let's take this moment to go inward, to focus on our prana. Prana, translating to breath, is in the breath of life, our life energy source, our life energy force. There's a few translations, but no matter what you're doing, you're sitting at the desk, you're sitting in a chair, you're driving in a car, you're sitting on the couch, you're laying in the bed, you're walking in the park, just take this moment to lengthen out your spine. Create a nice line of energy from your tailbone to your crown so breath can effortlessly move through you. Start to notice your breath and what it's doing naturally, and just know that you can always come back to this. And begin pushing out all of your breath, leaving no breath behind, so you can start a new breath cycle with me. Inhale through your nose to fill up your belly like a balloon, and hold at the top. And then exhale, let out a sigh. Pull your belly button in, deflating your belly, and hold at the bottom. Inhale through your nose, into your belly, past your rib cage, all the way up to your collarbone, and hold. And exhale, letting out that sigh, pushing out all the air, expelling what you do not need. Inhale through your nose to fill all the way up, letting stillness wash over your body and just feeling your belly rise, and hold. And then exhale, pushing out all the air, no breath left behind. And one more time, take a deep inhale through your nose and let the breath travel to any place in your body that needs attention and nourishment. And then exhale, let out that sigh, expelling all the breath, relieving whatever tension, negativity that you do not need. Let your breath come back to a steady rhythm. And let's get on with the show. Yoga news. This week's yoga news. New lawsuit claims Poppy's prebiotic claims are false. Poppy built a following by claiming that the drink will help you be gut happy, be gut healthy, thanks to prebiotics. So basically, Poppy is a prebiotic soda company. They were actually on Shark Tank, and they've been rising to popularity because it's supposed to be gut healthy, which gut health is the new trend these days. Currently, they have a $100 million revenue in the last year, and they're on the rise. But there has been a lawsuit filed against them because people have realized it only contains 2 grams of prebiotic, which means you would need at least 4 cans a day to see any gut benefit at all. And then on top of that, all the sugar in it contradicts whatever health gains that there are. The company, Poppy, said that this suit is baseless. So we'll have to see how things turn out, if they're actually able to fight this. But I wanted to talk about this. I am a gut health girly. I'm all about the gut health. I'm a health girly in general. That's my whole thing. And what can I drink? What can I eat to be healthier? What can I not eat? What can I stay away from to be healthier? What can I do to be healthier? That is all very important. I love that everybody is moving in that direction, but I think it is important that truth prevails. I am tired of companies preying on us. And it's not just poppies. And who knows, maybe their stuff really is gut healthy. It hasn't been proven. Is it though? But it's not just poppy. It's other companies too. I am so sick of brands health washing themselves and making them seem way healthier than they actually are. Like, it's annoying. There's nothing that makes me more upset than something that is disguised as healthy. Like, oh my God. And then it's just sad because so many people fall for this marketing, and like the falsehoods, they need to be shown. They need to come out. Like, we need to see what's really true. And the truth is, there are a lot of ways to get probiotics and prebiotics in your diet without these new fancy drinks and products that, again, it's just disguised as healthy. It's just BS in a can. Like, come on. I mean, I'm not gonna slander them too hard, but it's not just Poppy doing that. It's a lot of brands doing that, and I'm ready for a change. Because we need to know what's actually going to help us and improve our lives and make us healthier. Next, today, June 8th, is National Best Friends Day. Friends are important. Relationships are important. To me, good relationships make life worth living. And there's just so many people, so you can have infinite good relationships with as many people as there are in the world. And then, like, you can even have a good relationship with yourself, which is almost infinite. I guess to the end of your time, you could always have a good relationship with yourself. It's like, good relationships make life worth living. And I think Best Friends Day is a day worth celebrating. It's a time period where a lot of people are lonely. So it is important to cherish the friends and relationships that you do have, especially as you get older, you leave school, maybe some people work from home, or you're just not in the setting to build strong connections like you were when you were younger. So cherish the friends that you have. A wise woman once told me, yoga friends are the best friends. So it's always good to be able to practice yoga with a friend. Hit up a friend, say, hey, let's go to a yoga class, or let's do some yoga together. Even if you don't do yoga, do some wellness activity together where you work out, or just some shared struggle together. It's always so rewarding to be able to accomplish something with a friend. Like, wow, we really just went on this super long walk, or we just got through this practice and we're both sweating together. Like, some friends, some communities fast together. There's just a lot of different things that you could do with your friend to really celebrate your friendship and to just go through something together, conquer something together. Friends are important. Yoga heals. This week's guest is Jeremy Carlson. He's a fitness trainer, a power yoga instructor, and the lead flexologist at the Stretch Lab. He has a passion for physical and mental longevity and help. Of course, I actually met him at my job, and I was like, duh, be on my show. A fellow yoga instructor and a stretch practitioner or flexologist. Man, he's been practicing yoga for quite some time, and he has a wealth of knowledge. So let's just get on with the interview. First, I'd like to say thank you, Jeremy, for coming onto the Perfect Prana show. How are you doing today?
Doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yay, I'm so excited. So the first thing that I ask every single guest when they come on the show is, when did you start practicing yoga? Why do you still practice yoga today?
So I started a little bit after college. So 2016, I was working in a gym, and I was really into weightlifting, cardio, cycling, and I never had really experienced yoga before. And there was a teacher, an instructor. She was a 500-hour instructor, really good. That I just popped into one of her classes, got a feel for it. It kind of just brought me to that place that you feel that serenity with the music. At the time, I definitely I needed some stretching, just getting in there and getting a feel for the asanas and the flow was really cool. So from there, started picking up some classes at that gym. Didn't really have formal training at that point, and it kind of bit me a little bit later. I taught a class at a gym I was at a little later on, and I ended up teaching the whole class with my eyes closed, which was not, most teachers would know, not great because you have to have eyes on, you know, communication with the student. And so I definitely, at that point, I knew I needed to get into more formal training. I looked into some vinyasa, some power flow, and I went into my teacher training at Core Power. And that was one of the toughest things I've ever done in my life, going from no yoga to, pretty much studying it nonstop, a few months of rigor. But, I ended up getting addicted to it. And one of the cool things about yoga I started to learn is that it's multifaceted. So get your strength, your cardio, your flexibility, your improved range of motion, your balance, spatial awareness. So all those are kind of embedded in a practice. The emotional release too. So that's physical, like going through the asanas. I find that nice for the flexibility. I think everyone should really consider it. It's something that if you're consistent with, you'll definitely see the benefits from it. And then, the emotional side of it, just the breathing, excellent. So you just relax your body, you focus on those pranayamas, the grounding aspect of it, so important in everyday life. So, I'd recommend yoga to, anybody, as you know, Kyah. And then the visual benefits. So part of why I still practice, but I'm addicted to it still. It's been going 8, 9 years now since I started, and you just feel good. You look good, but that's kind of a secondary part of it. The core of it is really just finding that drive, that that reaching for longevity. For me, that's really it. Just knowing that this is good for you, it makes you feel good, and continue to do that on a day-to-day basis is excellent. And the overall convenience of it, I mean, if you were trying to sell it to somebody, it's there for you whenever you need it. It's easy to touch. You can just roll that mat out and start your practice. And it's also affordable. So if you don't need a whole lot to get involved with it, and that's part of the reason why I still use it. And just you're really connecting that your mind and your body. For me, it's easier to do on a consistent basis on the mat than to do it in a gym where you're, walking up to that bar, or you're getting on that treadmill, and you have to get over those mental hurdles to get the best workout you can.
Man, that was loaded. You touched on a few things, sparked a few thoughts in me. First, I want to say was definitely somebody where I close my eyes a lot while I'm teaching a class. I find myself doing it less now, and I won't do it the whole way. Because I don't know how you did it like the entire way. That's crazy. But I will say, like, it's something about anxiety. I don't know. Sometimes I just have to close my eyes when I'm teaching because I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a lot of people. But it is so
Right.
important to be able to open your eyes and look around at people. So, and you have to see what they're doing to yield to like, hey, well, try this instead. Or
Yes, or catch them if they're not doing something safe. So
true.
that we, knees are important. And, if they're in, a pigeon or something where their knee can go in the wrong direction or tree, that's something you probably want to catch. So yeah, I was not in the best place after that class. I'll just say that, and I definitely needed to change up my thing. So
So I wanted to get more into, I see that you're really driven toward the wellness industry, the fitness industry, and that's just something really important to you. What drove you to that?
right now I'm working with Stretch Lab. It's something that I think it kind of ties into yoga for me. Like with what I'm doing here, it's all about longevity and taking care of your body, preserving your body in a way that you'll be able to do the things you love to do for a long time. Whether you're just walking around, you want to, or you're riding a bike, you just want to you go about your daily activities, just stretching, keeping your joints well supported, your muscles nice and strong is great. I see, after a while, I see, people start to, their mood starts to lighten up just from just being in with working with me with, either yoga or stretching. It's fantastic. It's really why I do it, because, just to see other people have that joy, in everyday life is so cool. I definitely see a link, between some of the stretching I do now and then kind of transitioning into like a yoga practice. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, wait, so was fitness and wellness something that kind of came natural to you and were you always interested in it?
Yeah. So it's been, I was an athlete, through high school, college. I rode crew in college. Then I worked a little bit with college athletes with my degree and everything. In a way, it started off with more fitness. I transitioned it more into the health wellness once I got out of school with one of my jobs. Yeah, I started to see the benefits of that. So just the stress management side of it is really important to me. Being mindful, just the toll that stress takes on your body is really devastating. So just being able to manage that is crucial for life, for success. So that's a little bit of why I got into it.
It is so important. I'm always just curious about what leads people down this path because it really is a path of service. And it's a necessary path too, because it's just in this world, like we need, as many people as possible kind of living by example, taking care of their health and just being that example and helping us take care of our health. Cause
Mhm.
there's we got a lot of things going against us in that department. And it's just, what we might think, well, that's like basic knowledge. A lot of it isn't. Like a lot of people don't know how to manage stress, how to manage their health, things that they could do to better take care of themselves. Even with stretching, it's so easy to be like, okay, I'm gonna stretch and not know what to do. And I was kind of like that before pre-yoga, where I'm like, I don't even know what to do. Like stretch, like, okay, touch
Yeah,
my toes. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I want to get more into your philosophy, your life advice, something you hold close to your heart or keep in the forefront of your mind. Well, I really appreciate you being here, kind of diversifying it because,
Yeah.
again, mostly in the yoga world, at least in America, it's mostly women. So
Mm.
therefore, on my show, it's mostly women. And every once in a while, get a male perspective and just like, just shifting things a little bit. Like
Yeah.
yoga is for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, happy to be on. Happy to share my side of it.
Okay, so before we go, I'm going to ask you to lead us through a quick pranayama for the radio.
So I'm going to lead you guys through the Ujjayi Pranayama. It's one I very familiar with from my training. So this is a way to build your heat during your practice. All you do is, you breathe in through your nose for about 4 seconds. I want you to constrict the back of your throat as you breathe. So you'll hear a little bit of a like an oceanic sound or like a light snoring sound. That's what we're looking for. So you just breathe into the deeper part of your throat, constricted. So you inhale for 4 seconds, and then exhale out your nose for another 4. And one more time, inhale, hear the oceanic sound as you breathe. Exhale out your nose. And namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Jeremy. You're listening to the Perfect Prana Show on 88.1 FM WCRX, Saturdays at 10 a.m., Sundays at 9 a.m., also available on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube, where I post extended versions. If you're in the Chicago area and would like to come practice yoga with me, visit me at LA Fitness on King Drive, Wednesdays at 9:45 a.m., Saturdays at 11 a.m. Weekly Wellness Challenge. Last week's challenge, ahimsa, non-violence, and I challenged you all and myself to do something to kind of contradict violence, which helps somebody. Do something, a noble act, and journal about it. What did I do this week? Did I help anybody? Did I contradict violence? I feel like I help people every single week. Like, I've put myself in the position where I'm constantly having to help people, but I always feel like I don't help enough. I always feel like there's way more help that I could give. I could be even more helpful to those around me, whether I know them or don't know them. And that's just something that I'm always going through. Like, man, I could help more. And yeah, I did do a little short journaling about it, but that's because I kind of gained a different perspective of ahimsa. I mean, there's just so many ways and scales to think about the 8 limbs of yoga. It's hard sometimes to put these limbs into practice when you're not in situations where they need to be put into practice. I feel like life will face me with the circumstances where I have to make the best decision of like, oh, let me do this or let me not react this way, versus, like, oh, this is a challenge. It's hard to think of like, what are exercises, or things that I could do to practice ahimsa, or, I have to think about that sometimes. But the new perspective I gained is that ahimsa is not just like, it's not the absence of violence. It's being peaceful and promoting peace even when there's injustice. So can you like peacefully disrupt injustice, how the yogis are doing in San Diego, when the circumstance arises, but I'm not gonna tell you, and I know I'm not about to look for injustice around me to peacefully disrupt it. And if I'm being honest, like, any negativity, any injustice or whatever I've experienced this week has been from within. So I guess I tried my best to peacefully disrupt that from within, and like, okay, yeah, I realized this about myself, or I had all these negative thoughts, or I went through this, or whatever the case is, but I'm not about to like punish myself and like do something violent to myself because of XYZ. So I don't know, but that was a different take on a himsa that I came across on Instagram. When the situation arises, though, I will be peaceful, irregardless. I try my best to be diplomatic in all situations, and I do definitely reflect on times where that wasn't the case and I cringe, like, ugh, why would I react like that? You know, that wasn't the best, but you know, I'm learning every day. This week's challenge: Satya, honesty, truthfulness. What are we going to do to practice honesty and truthfulness? I can't even remember what we did. You know, it is important that we're committed to truth. Again, with the whole Poppy lawsuit, with the, you know, the prebiotic soda, we need to expose the truth. We need to know the truth. The truth will set us free. The truth always prevails. If something's truly working, then it'll show. If people are truly getting all these health gains from drinking Poppy, then that'll show. But if they're not, then that'll show. So this week's challenge, I challenge myself and I challenge everybody. So if you do not have one, I challenge you to get a journal. And I'm always doing a journal challenge, and it is so important to have in order to practice truthfulness and honesty, because where else can you be the most honest? Where else? There's no other space where you can be as honest with besides within your own private writings. You know, I hope nobody reads my journal because that's such an invasion. But, you know, I will say I'm the most candid within my journal. And that's the challenge. So for me, the challenge is I need to get a new journal because my journal is running out. My journal is getting to the end of it. So I want a nice, new, fresh journal for this nice, new, fresh era of life. But that's the challenge this week because again, there's no other place where you can be as candid and as open besides in your journal, besides in your own private writings. And a journal is designated for your candid, honest, open, clear thoughts. You know, you could put it in your phone, you could put it in a laptop, you could put it, I don't know, on an electronic device, but your electronic device is more for than your honest, open, candid thoughts for your keeping. A journal, it is tangible, it's lasting, unless you throw it away or it catches on fire, you somehow ruin it. But yeah, and then it's designated just for your own private thoughts. Before I go, let me leave you with a quote. You know, I take inspiration for everything, you know, and it could be like the most silliest or the most profound quote, whatever. But this week's quote, I actually wrote this down last night because I was watching Degrassi, and yes, I was watching Degrassi, and you're not going to talk about me. I don't care who thinks what. Yes, I'm rewatching Degrassi right now, okay? And it's been my thing and I love it. But she said in her graduation speech, it's only a mistake if you never learn from it. You know, I don't know if that really ties in to the episode. I mean, yeah, you can make it tie in however you want, but I just thought it was a nice little quote. It allows you and it reminds you to give yourself grace when you make a mistake. You know, it's only a mistake if you never learn from it. It's like, yeah, things happen, things don't always go right or whatever the case is, but just learn from it. But if you don't learn from it, then like, yeah, that's problematic and you might have to keep going through that. But you know, it's only a mistake if you don't learn from it. I just thought that was so cute. Like, wow, made me feel warm inside. Anyways, it's been a great, lovely show. Thank you so much to tuning in to the Perfect Prana show on WCRX 88.1 FM, also available on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. So yeah, just thank you to everybody that has listened thus far and that loves and supports me. I really appreciate you and I love you right on back. With that being said, the divine in me bows to the divine in you. Namaste.